Hello, you're tuning to Vietnam Television's live news service at 8. I'm Michael Liu and here's the top news for this hour. Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange celebrates 15th anniversary. Vietnamese Prime Minister attends the event. Workshop on China's illegal construction in the East Sea drawing 200 international and domestic experts. Red Journey 2015 arrives in Hanoi, raising awareness of safe blood donations. Now first off, the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange recently celebrated its 15th anniversary. Since its establishment on July the 20th, 2000, Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange has become the first concentrated stock market in the country. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng attended and spoke at the event on Saturday in Ho Chi Minh City.
The greatest success of the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange in the last 15 years has been the addition of leading listed companies in the economy. As of June 30th, the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange has 303 listed shares with a total market capitalization of over 1.1 billion Vietnam dong, accounting for nearly 90% of the market capitalization of shares in Vietnam. After 15 years, the total value of sale and exchange activities reached 2.7 billion Vietnam dong. Speaking at the ceremony, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng lauded the contribution of the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange.
I want to stress the importance of institutional policies in the concept of international integration. I want to request the Ministry of Finance and the State Securities Commission to further promote stock market restructuring activities. You have done well, and I hope to see more of it.
The Prime Minister also pointed out the limitations of the HOSE and the Vietnamese stock market in general. Accordingly, goods are not yet diversified, and trade transactions, market liquidity, and investing structure activities are not sustainable and still lack investments. The Prime Minister instructed the Ministry of Finance and the State Securities Commission to further support HOSE.
I highly value the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange's work in developing the Vietnamese stock market. You have contributed to the socio-economic development of the country.
On this occasion, the Prime Minister awarded the first-class labor order for the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange. The HOSE also honored its active members for the past 15 years.
An international workshop on China's illegal construction in the East Sea took place on Saturday in Ho Chi Minh City. The event drew 200 law experts from home and abroad. All agreed that China's construction in 7 locations in the Spratly Islands of Vietnam are a violation of international law.
Dr. Eric Frank, member of the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague of the Netherlands and co-host of the workshop, affirmed that China's artificial construction affects human rights.
Of course, you cannot change the nature of a particular feature in the oceans. The convention has very peculiar and very precise definitions, and you cannot change from one definition to the other by humankind or human intervention.
According to international law, a country building artificial constructions in order to claim sovereignty over an area is illegal and never accepted.
Such actions have seriously violated Vietnam's sovereignty over the Spratly Islands and threatened peace, security, economy, trade, maritime, and aviation freedom in the region.
The creation of these artificial islands is going to adversely impact the environment of the South China Sea, which is going to get badly damaged because of construction activity. The corals are being destroyed, the fish is going to get dissipated, economic life in the ocean itself will get adversely affected.
Most scholars agreed that an optimal solution will come about through peaceful dialogue and respect for international law.
The scholars significantly analyzed China's illegal artificial construction. The act has negatively impacted regional peace and security. At the workshop, scholars warned countries around the world, especially ASEAN countries, to establish links and speak out against China's illegal act.
Dai Hung Queen Floating Storage and Offloading Unit, otherwise called FSO, recently received the first oil flow from Dai Hung 01 Floating Production Unit, FPU, at Block 051A in Dai Hung Field beyond Vietnam's continental shelf, marking the success of PV Trans and PVEP POC. PVN Dai Hung Queen FSO has transformed a 105,000 deadweight ton Aframax tanker into modern floating storage by PV Trans. It is capable of containing 700,000 oil barrels, receiving 35,000 barrels per day and working for 10 consecutive years in the field. PVN Dai Hung Queen FSO, funded by PV Trans-Pacific, and Dai Hung 01 FPU, managed by PVEP POG, are two important units for oil and gas production in Dai Hung Field. This project is not only of great significance to PV Trans and Petro Vietnam in ensuring crude oil production, but also offers significant contributions towards ensuring national energy security and preserving inland sovereignty. Belarus is a promising market for Vietnamese produce, despite a small population of just over 10 million people. This market is largely untapped, with many agricultural commodities still being imported through a third country. The newly signed free trade agreement between Vietnam and the Euro-Asian Economic Union has created new opportunities for Vietnamese produce to enter the Belarusian market.
The first contract signed between Belarusian National Union of Consumer Societies with Hanoi Trade Corporation was a supply of 200 tons of rice. The deal was signed just over a month ago, and its shipment is en route to Minsk.
The newly signed free trade agreement is very beneficial. 10,000 tons of rice from Vietnam will be completely tax-free. As a result, our customers will get quality rice at low costs. This also creates market competition with imported rice from other countries like India and Pakistan.
Belarus currently imports commodities such as rice, tea, coffee, fruits and vegetables from many foreign countries. Meanwhile, Vietnamese businesses in Belarus can also benefit from the new FTA. For instance, Nông Văn Thìn's tapioca, currently being produced in Vietnam, can be imported into Belarus tax-free.
At first, my products were quoted with an import duty of 20%. It was reduced to 15% in the last 2 years. It's great to hear that all agricultural and forestry products from Vietnam will receive a tax exemption. Hopefully, Vietnamese imports will double in the near future.
Trade turnover between Vietnam and Eurasian countries has been forecast to reach $12 billion by 2018, following the signing of this free trade agreement. Exports from Vietnam to Belarus will increase by 41%. Trade and economic development between the two countries are expected to soar in the future, as many Vietnamese firms actively seek partners in Belarus.
Severe drought also caused great damage to rice production in the south-central province of Phu Yen. Many crops have either died or been fed to cattle because they can no longer grow. However, local authorities and farmers still have not given up on the remaining crops. All possible measures are being carried out to salvage these rice-growing areas. Water pumps have been installed, operating day and night for the past 2 weeks. The rental fees for these pumps have totaled up to $14,000. Local authorities have also accelerated the construction of a water reserve lake in the region. Still to come on VTV News, Red Journey 2015 arrives in Hanoi, raising awareness of safe blood donations. Next, 1,500 students join marathon to show support for disadvantaged children in the Northwestern Highlands. More to come right after the break.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. Now, Sơn La Province commenced construction of a Buddhist administrative and cultural centre on July the 25th, which is expected to be the largest of its kind in the northwest of Vietnam. The centre will cover about 20 hectares in the Chang Sinh ward of Sơn La City and comprise of 80 facilities, including a 3-entrance gate, an administrative area and an events venue with a seating capacity of 20,000. It will be built in 4 phases at a total cost of over $9.3 million, mostly donated by organisations and individuals. The centre is meant to provide Buddhist education and practice for people from various ethnic groups in Sơn La. On this occasion, the Sangha and local followers held a requiem for war heroes and martyrs just ahead of War Invalids and Martyrs Day on July the 27th. Red Journey 2015, a national blood donation campaign, has just arrived in Hanoi, its last destination. The campaign travelled through 21 cities from south to north and has produced many impressive results to help heighten public awareness of blood donation in Vietnam. This is what Red Journey 2015 has achieved.
Like many patients at the National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion, Đào Thu Hiền is one of 169 patients being treated here. She received free blood transfusions for 2 years thanks to the Red Journey by the National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion.
As a mother, I'm grateful for this program that helps my family. My kids have more energy, and I believe that one day this disease will be cured.
20 days after its start on July the 3rd, the Red Journey campaign has mobilized about 25,000 people to participate. The journey has so far collected 17,937 units of blood, more 1,000 units of blood than originally planned. These results were announced at the event on July 25th in Hanoi.
This is the 4th time that I have participated in blood donation. This is a very significant program. We can help unlucky people. I am willing to donate blood, and I hope that the youth continue to heighten awareness about blood donation because it saves lives.
Red Journey belongs not only to the health sector, but the whole community. Therefore, this journey carries great significance for medicine, community, and society.
Over the past 20 years, the blood donation campaign has done very well, but only met about 60% of blood volume compared to demand, which means thousands of patients still do not have enough blood to be able to overcome these serious diseases. There is still much to be done.
According to the World Health Organization (WHO), Vietnam is one of 182 countries worldwide to perform a blood donation movement. The annual Red Journey campaign helps mobilize voluntary blood donation and to protect public health.
1,500 students joined a marathon entitled Connecting the Youth Innovation Marathon at Hang Dae Stadium in Hanoi on Saturday. The event, the second of its kind, aims to raise funding to provide educational equipment and clothing to disadvantaged children in the Northwestern Highlands.
The Connecting Viet Youth Innovation Marathon started with an 800-meter race for women. The program's representative, Miss Vietnam 2014, also joined the race.
Running is a healthy exercise, and it's fun to run with a lot of people. This marathon connects young people for a good cause to raise money to support disadvantaged children.
I'm very glad to be part of this program because this is a meaningful activity for society.
This is the second time I've participated in this program. It's very exciting to see all the enthusiasm from young people for charity. I hope more activities like this will be organized in the future.
The money raised from the marathon will be used to build a library and buy learning tools for students in remote areas. Part of it will be spared to organize more parties to celebrate the upcoming Mid-Autumn Festival.
Last year's Connecting Viet Youth raised about $4,100 for disadvantaged children in the northern region. This year, we will spend a portion of the money to support 6 children in the National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion.
The marathon this year attracted 1,500 students. Among these, 60% are overseas students in the United Kingdom and the United States, and the rest are domestic students. The event is part of the Connecting Viet Youth Program 2015. The program will run until July the 28th.
Around 120 young tennis players from 20 countries and territories are competing at the Under-18 International Tennis Federation Group 5 tournament in the central city of Da Nang. The competitors aged 16 to 18 are competing in 4 events: men's singles, women's singles, men's doubles and women's doubles. Many of them are from top tennis playing countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Russia, India, Australia and Pakistan. The competition is considered a good chance for young Vietnamese players to learn from foreign rivals. According to the tournament's regulations, the winners will get a trophy and ITF bonus points instead of cash prizes. Winners will receive 30 points for a single event and 20 points for a double event. The first ever Hanoi Open Kite Festival is currently hosted today at Insert Park. This year's theme will be Flying Dreams. Starting at 8 AM, the Kites Festival has attracted artists and runners from renowned clubs in Hanoi, Bắc Ninh, Bắc Giang, Hai Phong and Nam Định. The event features kite-related activities such as workshops, performances, exhibitions and competitions. The festival will be open free of charge until 4:30 PM. Over 1,000 domestic and international guests have attended this event. The Da Nang Museum of Chum Sculpture celebrated its 100th anniversary on Saturday morning. At the event, participants discussed the archaeological achievements in Chum architecture in the past 40 years, as well as the museum's operational situation. Experts suggested that the museum should become a cultural and research centre for the community. The Da Nang Museum of Chum Sculpture was built in 1915 and opened for public in 1919. It is well known for having 3 national treasures and an extensive collection dating from the 7th to the 15th century. It was recognised as a national first-class relic by the Vietnamese Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism. As the number of Japanese visitors to Vietnam increases, services for this community are developing steadily. Among these services, Japanese restaurants have gained much popularity with Vietnamese foodies. We'll have more in the following story.
Launched 4 months ago, this Japanese noodle restaurant welcomes about 50 to 80 customers a day. The atmosphere and especially the authentic flavor of the food are what attract many Vietnamese and Japanese customers.
I find the taste of udon here is very much like what we have in Japan. The atmosphere also reminds me a lot of a Japanese restaurant.
The tempura is very delicious, crunchy and smells great too. And the price is quite reasonable.
According to Japan External Trade Organization, or JETRO, there are hundreds of Japanese restaurants and franchises across Vietnam. Most of the ingredients are imported from Japan to ensure the signature flavor, but the recipe often includes a twist to suit Vietnamese customers.
Japanese food in Vietnam is quite well made and comes with many choices. I also like the atmosphere and the furniture of the restaurant. It's often quiet and peaceful, and the quality of the ingredients is high too.
Restaurants like this not only offer a Japanese cuisine experience to Vietnamese people, but also create job opportunities for thousands of local laborers. Working here is a chance for them to learn Japanese culture and professional working etiquette.
When the Vietnamese staff work at our restaurant, their Japanese co-workers teach them Japanese hospitality.
The popularity of Japanese food in Vietnam has resulted in an increasing number of Japanese restaurants. However, according to Jetcho, if Vietnam has more preferential policies for foreign investment in the restaurant sector, it's likely to see more investment inflow in the future.
So another week has just passed, and now is the time to look at the highlights of this week's news.
Prime Minister Nguyen Tân Dũng paid an official visit to Thailand on Thursday at the invitation of his Thai counterpart Prayut Chan-o-cha. Following the welcoming ceremony in Bangkok, the two prime ministers co-chaired the third Vietnam-Thailand Joint Cabinet meeting. At the meeting, the two state leaders noted the determination of both sides to efficiently carry out the Vietnam-Thailand Action Plan on Trade and Investment Cooperation from 2015 to 2020, bringing two-way trade turnover to $20 billion by 2020. As of June 2015, Thailand was the 10th largest investor in Vietnam, with 392 valid projects worth $6.8 billion. The two sides also agreed to establish a mechanism on defense dialogue, as well as mechanism on high-level security between Vietnam's Ministry of Public Security and the Royal Thai Police. After the joint cabinet meeting, Vietnam's Prime Minister joined the Vietnam-Thailand Business Dialogue. At the event, he affirmed that Vietnam highly valued Thailand's investment projects in Vietnam, and Vietnam's government will create favorable conditions for Thailand investors for long-term in Vietnam.
Taking stock, the World Bank's semi-annual review of Vietnam's economic performance was released on Monday. The event was led by Victoria Kawaka, World Bank Country Director for Vietnam. The World Bank report claims Vietnam's economy has achieved growth of 6.28%, the highest level in 5 years. The review also attributed this boom to the central bank's flexible foreign currency exchange policies. This has greatly facilitated economic activities and increased Vietnam's competitiveness. However, the World Bank expressed concerns over Vietnam's state budget balance, falling exports, growing deficit, and slow restructuring process. A new category was added to the review. The World Bank gave a breakdown on the development of Vietnamese labour market over the past 25 years and made several suggestions for improvement.
Vietnam's consumer price index hit a 10-year low in July, increasing by just 0.13% month-on-month and 0.9% year-on-year. The General Statistics Office revealed on Friday. 9 of the 11 key goods and services categories recorded a price increase in July. The biggest increase, 0.25%, was recorded in the prices of apparel, hats, and footwear. Consumer demand for these commodities traditionally grows in July and August in preparation for the new school year that begins in late August and early September. The General Statistics Office explained. Prolonged hot weather also increased consumption of electricity and water and raised utility prices.
A ceremony was held in Hanoi on Wednesday to mark the 35th anniversary of the Soviet Union flights that carried Russian cosmonaut Viktor Vasilievich Gorbatko and Vietnamese cosmonaut Pham Tuan. The former cosmonauts spoke at the ceremony about the time they worked together and talked about the very close friendship that's lasted for more than 35 years. The aerospace mission with Pham Duân and Viktor Gorbatko aboard from July the 23rd to the 31st, 1980 became an important historical event and the pride of the two nations. It landed safely after conducting scientific research programs. The success has inspired space technology research and application in Vietnam, resulting in a number of major achievements in the sector. Vietnam launched its first communication satellite, Vinasat-1, in April 2008 and the second, Vinasat-2, in 2012.
Vietnam is going to appear in a video made by the Vancouver-based tech firm You're the Cast, which is making the first ever color video from space, captured by its camera on the International Space Station. Singers including Mỹ Tâm, Domi, music band 365, together with thousands of young people gathered on the central city of Da Nang's beach in preparation for the filming. The film is currently being filmed in 10 countries over 4 continents. All the shots will be taken by high-resolution cameras mounted on the space station.
Should you come out of home tomorrow, let's check out the latest weather update of selected cities around the world. That's wrapped up this edition of VTV News. Now please check out vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for more of our updated content. Goodbye for now and see you in the next bulletins of the day.